your girl Denisha, back with another freaking video. And as y'all can see, your girl got glasses now, which I kind of hate because like this freaking ring light is gonna be like reflecting from my glasses. I don't like that, so I'm probably gonna take them off. But the thing is, I absolutely positively cannot see a thing, so this should be fun. I don't know if I'm living crazy or not. So I just kind of got on here a little bit to kind of like vent or whatever. I don't know if y'all can hear my AC. I don't know if y'all can hear them loud crickets outside communicating, but they talking, they chatting. So let's get into this home buying process. So I have been in Alabama for a year, a little bit over a year. So of course, like before my lease was up, I would say about like February, I started like, okay, let me get a realtor, let me look at some houses. And if you don't know, February 2022, the housing market was crazy. I'm talking like people, the asking price for a house would be like $200,000 and people would be at like $230,000. And it's like, why would you do that? Because just why? But I mean, people were overbidding because they really wanted a house. Like they wanted to, when I say, like I went to an open house and it was like 5-6 of us waiting in our cars to see the house. That same night the house was off the market. So it was crazy. Like people would bid on houses that had only been on the market for like 10 minutes, and then by the time like it'll say this house was posted 20 minutes ago, I would hit up my realtor and be like, hey, I want to go see this house, and she'll be like, oh, they've already accepted an offer. And I'm like, what? It's literally been posted for 20 minutes. I know you ain't show that house already. So people were like bidding on houses that they haven't even seen. People were overbidding. People were willing to, in a typical market, the closing costs, to my knowledge, usually like the person selling the home would probably cover the closing costs, and they would cover like the termite, the wood inspection, you know, they inspect for like termites and all that stuff like that. But in this market, it was like people who were selling their homes weren't trying to pay for a thing. Like you was paying your own closing costs, if not all closing costs, like whatever they would usually pay for. If you want this house, you will offer to pay for it in your contract so that you can get it. Whatever offer was giving them the most money, that's what they were taking. And I just was not about to do the most for the sake of getting a house. Like, I'm sorry, but if your selling price for the house is $200,000, that's what I'm gonna put in my contract. I'm not gonna give you $200,000. I'm not gonna give you extra $30,000. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, $230,000. No, your house is $200,000, and then by the time, let's not forget that you have to, once they accept your offer, your contract offer, then you have to get like inspections done. You have to get your appraisals done within like 15-day time span. And so let's say the appraiser comes and the appraiser like, oh, this house is only worth, oh, they listed the house for $200,000, but after doing the appraisal, it's only worth $170,000. Right, so you just made an offer to pay $230,000 on a house that wasn't even worth asking price. So, and you're bound to that because that's what you put in your contract, that's what you said. So it was crazy, and I was kind of confused because I wasn't like, well, I don't want to say it. I'm not even gonna go there. It just kind of like baffled me where people was getting all this money from, you know. But I did kind of have my ear to the streets a little bit, and I was hearing that what is happening is that a lot of these established like companies would buy houses and they would just, you know, fix them up and rent them for about the same as these 3-bedroom apartments, which is absolutely expensive. The whole reason for me wanting to get a house was to kind of pay a cheaper mortgage than what I'm paying for rent, one, and then two, if I'm gonna keep paying something like monthly, I mean, I might as well be getting some type of equity, like some type of asset under my belt, you know what I'm saying? Because I will always own a house, whether I live in it for a year, 2 years, and decide to rent it out. Like, I will always own a house. Or if I buy land, I will always own that land unless I decide to sell it. But to constantly like continue to pay rent at this rate, and I'm never gonna own it, like, and if they change the rules, you know, I could get, like, it's just a lot. And then they go up on the rent every year. So my rent was supposed to go up this year when I renewed my lease. However, my front office people overlooked and they put last year's lease amount on there, so I got saved. So I got another year under the same price. But please believe that when this time for this lease is up, I'm out of there, because I'm not, they haven't come in here and put no new carpet. Not that my carpet needs to be fixed or anything like that. I still got brown wood cabinets, and you know what I'm saying, I still got these same faux granite counters. Like, to continue to go up on the rent and there's no improvement being done to these apartments is wild. Like, you go outside and you look at my apartment building, these buildings don't even get pressure washed. The gates like constantly like broken, so it's supposed to be secure but anybody can get in. And actually they redid the fencing on the outside, which it needed to be redone. I'm not gonna fault them for that, but when they did that, it opened up our apartment complex to the surrounding neighborhood. And I don't even live in a bad area, but I mean, my car, somebody came in the complex, went into my car at that time that the gate was down, and then like nothing has happened in the apartment complex since the gate has been back up, since the fencing has been back up. So, and then we have a different type of fence. We have like, now we have like the cattle fence that you can like step in and climb over, versus before we had the tall wooden privacy fences that you can't climb. So we're still kind of like at risk now. So y'all are not doing anything to make the apartment complex safer. You're not making it more modern. So to be going up on the rent every year is wild. It's wild, it's wild, it's wild. And I'm just like, this is not worth it. So let me just try to get a house. But like I said, the market was crazy at the beginning of the year. So, but I ended up just like taking a pause because I ran out of time. Like I said, I started in February. I had to renew my lease in June. So, I mean, I just ran out of time. And then if you know, with apartments, you have to let them know 2 months prior if you're gonna renew your lease or not, or else they're gonna assume you're gonna stay. sign you up for another lease, or like, and then you're probably gonna have to pay like month to month, which is like $200 more on top of what you're already paying. So really, like April-ish, I had to renew my lease. I really didn't have a lot of time. And I still could like, and if I would have tried to break it, even though it wasn't past the renewal period, I still would have had to pay to break my lease. But if I would have broke it at the right time, like let's say I found the house May, the lease doesn't renew till June, I could have waited till like the end of May, broke my lease in June, but I still would have had time to like move out into the house without paying for a whole nother month's rent. Like I was just kind of trying to like map it out perfectly in my head. So, but that, like I said, ran out of time, so that didn't go through. Ended up signing another renewal lease, and then maybe like last week I was like, okay, maybe I should get back out there. Let me try to get a house, because I need to start now, because a couple months wasn't enough time. So found the house I like, saw it, it was nice, put in my offer, and had to wait on my lender to write the pre-approval letter. And a pre-approval letter basically just lets the seller's real estate agent know, hey, she was approved for this amount, so she can cover the cost of the house, whatever. Her loan will cover the cost of the house. And I'm working through like the VA loan, because I am a veteran. VA loans, you don't have to have any down payment. You just have to have like closing costs up front, which on average typically range probably like $6,000. Well, I think it's like 3% of whatever the house is that you're looking at. So the houses I was looking at, typically it was about like $5,000 to $6,000 in closing costs. And then I was having to pay a rate lock-in fee, which is basically like if I find the house and mortgage rates are like 4.75% right now, but I don't actually close on the house until maybe, well, it takes a month to close on the house, period. So if by the time I reach the actual closing date, the interest rate goes up to like 6%, then I will only be liable for that 4.75%. So that's what the rate lock-in is. But I think it's like based on like your credit score. I don't know the ins and outs. But then I had to pay a fee for that, and so that fee was crazy. I don't even want to discuss it, but it was a couple thousand. So closing costs plus the rate lock-in fee, and I didn't want to go beyond, me personally, I didn't want to go beyond, well, I'm not gonna say, but anyway, I had a set amount for what I wanted my closing costs to be, like no more than this. So today I get a call from my lender, and he's like, hey, with your rate lock-in fee, you're looking at about XYZ thousand total closing costs. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, like, that's out of what I'm willing to pay. So I tell my realtor, and she's like, oh, she was like, so you want me to rescind your contract? I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, well, they were gonna choose your offer. And at this point, I'm looking at her like, girl, what are you, if they were going to choose my offer, why is today right now the first time that I'm hearing about it? Because we went to see the house over the weekend. It's Tuesday. We went to see the house probably Saturday. She submitted my contract Saturday. The only thing that we had to do was wait on my lender to do the pre-approval letter, and it was 4th of July weekend, so I mean, he was bound to not come back to work till Tuesday, today, which is the 5th. So he's getting everything done. But in that time frame, if you knew that I was the only offer, why am I just finding out today? Because I could have called my lender. I could have like, hey, I know it's the holiday, don't be mad at me, but like I need to like jump on this, because like the way, when I tell y'all the way the offers were coming left and right at the beginning, like you couldn't sit. You didn't have time to sit and think about what you wanted to do. It was either you was gonna do it or you wasn't, because that house is gonna be gone. Luckily, it's not like that. She said I ended up being the only offer that they had right now. But the point of the principle of it is, if they have decided to accept my offer and there's one thing that I'm waiting on, let me know so that we can get this one thing handled. So I don't like that. So I asked her, when do you think, when did they say this? So like, when did they say that they've already chose, that they were going to accept my offer and they were just waiting on this one thing? She never answered the question. She was just like, the agent said that they hadn't received any more offers. You're the only offer. They're waiting on the approval letter. Okay, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, I got it. This is the information that they gave you. When did you know that they had accepted my offer? And this has happened a couple times. Like a couple times, I would ask her a question, and it's like she will say everything but answer my question. And so in this, right now, in this mindset that I was in, I was like, girl, like, okay, like you moving shiesty now, like you moving shiesty. When I ask people a direct question, a clear-cut direct question, and you keep beating around the bush and not answering my question, I feel like you're moving weird. And so, like I said, with my lender, it would have been X amount of thousands total closing costs with the rate lock-in. Now, you don't have to get rate lock-in. To my understanding, the way it was put to me, it's optional. You don't have to get rate lock-in. So but you would be at risk of, if the rate goes up. It could go down though. But to lock in your rate is optional. You don't have to do this. So when I was trying to get with my lender, okay, well, how much would it be if I don't pay for the rate lock-in? How much will my closing costs be then? Because of course, if it sounds good, we can jump on a boat, we can jump on a ball right now, and I can have this house within a month, ideally. So but he was just kind of like trying to put it to me like, this is your only option. Like, basically, like, I had no choice. I had to get the rate lock-in, which, like I said, to my knowledge, it is optional. I haven't signed or committed to rate lock. Like, I haven't paid for anything. Therefore, I'm not bound to this lender, and I'm not bound to this contract on this house either. So because nothing has been accepted, like, everything's at a standstill right now. And it just felt like he was kind of like trying to force my hand on taking this rate lock-in, and then she was being very shady, not answering my question, withholding what I feel like is pertinent information. So it felt like I was being pressured to, like, let's jump on this right now. Two, I felt like I was being pressured to make a decision without having adequate amount of information of what's going on or what y'all are talking about, because again, I am a first-time home buyer. So when y'all start bringing me stuff, please understand that this is my first time hearing it. I need to do my own research. I need to ask my mama, because my mama is a real estate agent, but my mom is a real estate agent in another state, so she cannot help me here. But I can kind of like, do you know what this is? Do you know what she's talking about, Mom? That makes sense, you know? And so that will put me in a situation where, like, they're telling me something and I have to pause them, call my mama, ask her if like, Mom, do this sound right, what you know, whatever. Then my mama be like, ask this, or I would question that, and So now I gotta come back to the drawing board, ask them questions, listen to that, you know, like it was a lot of back and forth. Then it was a lot of like making decisions for myself, like what am I willing to accept as a first time home buyer. And I could have went through with it, but it was like the closing cost was like racking up. So we're talking so many of thousands in closing costs. We're not even looking at the fact that I have to pay for the VA person to come out and do the appraisal. And then with the VA, if anything is not a go on that appraisal, they're not going to approve the loan for that house. So basically, like, all of this jumping through hoops would have been for nothing if the house doesn't meet the appraisal or inspection standards. But regardless of whether the house meet expectations or not, you still have to pay for that appraisal. And the appraisal of inspection, or whatever you want to call it, is priced based on square footage of the home. So the bigger it is, the more expensive it is. So so let's say the appraisal costs like $500 to get somebody out there to look at it, and they say it's a no-go. Okay, that's $500 that's gone. So I have to do all of this over again, find another house, write up the contract, get it, try to get the contract accepted, go through, like, it's like it's a money game. So I would have had to pay for all the inspections or appraisal, whatever you decide you want to pay for when you write up your contract. Then I would have had to pay to break my lease. Then I would have had to pay to move. Not to mention I'm going on a trip, like, for my birthday in September. And final payment was due. I just went ahead and paid today, but final payment was due this month. Like, it would have been a lot on top of this, so many thousands that they want me to pay in closing costs. And I'm just like, no, like, I'm not about to be hemorrhaging all of this money out like that. And then two, the house, like, it didn't need any major work. It was fine. It just, like, some of the rooms they have painted a certain way. I want to repaint. Like, I don't want these colors, or maybe I don't want this stove, you know, like things that weren't a deal breaker for me to get the house, but they were things that I did want to fix prior to moving my stuff in. And when I was going to move out at first, when I was looking for a house at first, I had everything mapped out personally. I wanted to close on a house by a certain date, because let's say I close on a house today, my first mortgage payment won't kick in until a month from now. So if I closed on a house by the end of May, I want end of May, beginning of June. Sorry, my lease would have been up June 1st. So I was trying to close on something by May 1st. So sorry y'all, my camera was doing something weird. But had I closed on a house May 1st, my first mortgage payment wouldn't have been until June 1st, which is the perfect time for my lease to be up. So I wouldn't have had to pay rent and a mortgage at the same time. So I would have signed a contract and got an offer accepted by some point in April. So, and then I would have closed on a house at no later than 15 May, which would have gave me April, May to pack up the house, the whole month of also, but it wasn't gonna take me that long to pack. So let's say like the first 2 weeks in May, I could have packed up my apartment. the last 2 weeks in May leading up until the move-in day of June 1st, I would have been able to like have my granddad come down, have my granddad stay in the house, paint the walls for me, do like little minor stuff that I wanted to do around the house. That way when June 1st came, all I would have to do is move my boxes from the apartment to the house and everything would have been set up. But the way this time around, the way it would have went, I would have like been moving into a house that wasn't ready for me. Like, sure, I could paint at a later date, no big deal, I was willing to overlook that. But at the end of the day, I would have gotten the keys to the house and I would have been like, yay, like, yeah, I got a house, but I'm bleeding all of this money right now. I just spent all this money right now, and you know, still got so much more money to spend to paint. Like, I just wouldn't have been happy, you know. Like, I just, and when I was just like, you know what, I know I said I was gonna do it, but I told my lender never mind, I told my realtor never mind, like I just don't want to do it. My realtor called me and I was just like, I'm not comfortable. There are so many other financial factors to consider. I'm just like, no, like, apologize to the sellers for me, because I know that they thought this house was about to be out of their hands. I liked it, it was nice, it was in a good neighborhood, but I can't, I need to make decisions with a clear mind. I need to make decisions, like, I won't make the best decision if I'm stressed. I won't make the best decision if I'm unclear about exactly what's going on. And then when it comes to like money and numbers, like, I need you to run it to me exact. My realtor was giving me estimates, and what she estimated on the contract was so far off from what my lender estimated. And then even he was still shooting at ballpark estimates. I need exact numbers. When you talking about money coming out of my bank account, you need to talk to me in exact figures. I don't want no guesstimates or no round, or if you gonna round, you need to round up. Don't undershoot me, like, round up. So then when it's not that much, I'll be like, oh, okay, it wasn't that, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. But giving me, no. Like, when it comes to money, I don't play those games. If I feel unsure, if I feel like you moving shady, you're not getting any of my money. I'm sorry. So I'm just not sure I 100% trust the lender or the realtor at this point, because it's like, just be straight with me. Like I said, I feel like the lender was like kind of twisting my arm a little bit to kind of get the deal done. And then I feel like my realtor, on several occasions, I could ask a direct question and you say everything but what I'm asking you. Like, no, we're not doing that. So I'm done with it. I'm gonna pay this rent for the rest of my lease. I'm gonna build my credit back up, because they had to pull my credit twice, you know, since the beginning of this year. Because like I said, I tried to get a house earlier this year and then I stopped because I was over it. I decided I wasn't gonna do it, but then I got back in it again. And so of course my original rate lock in had expired, which means they had to pull my credit again. So now I gotta recoup from my credit being pulled down for houses that I didn't even get. So, you know, it was just a lot. It's just a lot that's got me like, no. But so all that being said, your girl's not gonna be a homeowner no time soon. I'm not ready. I always told myself like I wouldn't get a house until I got married anyway, because like why? Like, I'm not gonna cut my own grass. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. So my life's goal, one of my life's goals was to get a house, but I never saw myself getting a house by myself, unmarried. Not saying that it won't happen for me in the future, not saying that I can't have a house without being married, but that's just never where I saw my life going. And this past year, since being here in Alabama, it's like what I saw from my life is drastically different from the life I'm living and the path that I'm going on. And it's bringing me a lot of confusion, and I try to stay prayed up before I make decisions, but it's like I could be so sure of something and then random, it's like, oh, by the way, oh, this house is perfect, let's do it, let's jump on it. And then at the last minute, right before the finish line, oh yeah, by the way, you're about to be spending so many X amount of thousands over what you planned. It's like, hold up, run it back, because that's not where I thought we was here. We not here. So, and when I'm fine with a little bit of change, when you start talking like drastic change, that's when I'm like, all right, my heart ain't in it. Like, I don't even want to do it no more, because it's too, like, I understand things don't go according to plan always, but this is so far off the path. So I'm just not comfortable. But I'm gonna just go ahead and wrap up this video. My camera is about to die, so I'm gonna shut my mouth. So until next time, y'all, maybe next year your girl will have the credit score be back up. And I don't know, maybe I have a man. Maybe me and my man will be moving in on, like, who knows? Like, I just won't even care, honey. Like, thank God for rent, because this too much. Anyway, bye, y'all. I can't see y'all. I'm gonna let that go. Bye.